Good questions.
Let's go. All right, Gabe.
Kevin, what were your emotions walking off Old Kyle Field for the final time?
Yeah, how about that, huh? How about the fireworks? That's a pretty good touch. Seen a lot of things change here in the last couple of years. That was a nice touch at the end. I said on the radio show after the game, our players are extremely appreciative of our fans, former students, current students, the 12th man, and great setting tonight. And everybody was part of history. And a lot of photos, a lot of pictures taken that this place will never look the same. And it's a growth process, but for our guys to be a part of that was a big deal. For our seniors, that's a long-lasting memory, and it was really important to our team that our seniors left today with some good feelings and good memories that they can have for a lifetime.
Other questions? Oh, here, Mark.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about what this senior class does mean to you? You've got a lot of guys that you've had now for a couple of years.
Yeah, you've got, I really break them down into two groups. You've got the guys who've been here for 4 or 5 years that have, worked through and seen a lot of different things, have played in 2 separate conferences, have been in some pretty big games in their career, both, good and bad. And you have a group of walk-on guys who, like Travis Labhart, who's guys who've toiled around here kind of in obscurity, but have hung on and been on the team. Travis is, he's earned a scholarship, and now you see what happens with him. And then the third group is guys like Stephen Jenkins and Darrell Walker. That group of guys, Otis Jacobs, the guys who are recent guys that were added either as transfers or junior college transfers, and have all blended into one group. And there was one common thing about that. This was tonight was senior night, and it's always emotional, but there's no doubt that there were different journeys, different paths to get to where they are right now. But they're all going to leave here together, and our job and as a team was to make tonight a positive memory for them.
Down front, Sam.
Obviously, with the seniors, a lot of emotion, but did you sense some extra emotion from Johnny before the game?
I just, he was ready to play, just like a lot of people, and not really. I mean, he's a pretty emotional guy all the time. There's nothing surprises me before the game with him. So sometimes I'd be more surprised if he wasn't very emotional, because that's how he plays the game. And he's just like anything else. I think you see in situations like tonight, particularly on senior night, what happens is it's emotional for the guys who know this is their last home game, but it's also for some other guys who are younger, really see and feel that emotion like, wow, it is coming to an end for these guys, and we're not going to be able to play and hang out. And I think that hits the younger players. The older you get, because when you're a freshman, you think this is going to go on forever, and time flies by, and the closer you get to that stage, you start thinking about, wow, that's me. And you see it in juniors, sophomores, guys like that, and it becomes the emotion really kind of snowballs from there.
And obviously a lot of ups and a couple downs, but how would you assess his play overall today?
He's I thought he made enough plays for us to win. Made some big plays, very critical plays before the half. I'm sure there's a couple of them I knew he wanted to have back. Trying to do too much a couple times, but he gave us a chance there. What, he had 5 touchdowns? So that's for most people that's pretty good. We've got to do a better job. We turned it over. We lost the turnover battle today. We did a terrible job in the penalty department, and at critical times. Then we had 2 turnovers going in to score, which you're giving away 14 points or 10 or 6 at the least. So, yeah, we'd like to have those back, and we've got to continue to preach that and get better. Certainly with our opponents that are coming up.
We'll go middle and then far right.
Hey, Coach, can you talk about the job Jeff Banks has done with the special teams? Blocked punt today, blocked field goal. What should have been a kickoff return for a touchdown, and kind of how much influence you put. How much does special teams influence the game?
Well, that's our second blocked punt here. Last couple of weeks, we've been close before that, and we're aggressive by nature, and our kids believe in it. We've got a scheme that gives our guys a chance. We're utilizing. I think the biggest compliment is, we're utilizing our frontline players. Ben Molina's out there, a bunch of our starters. Trey. We really missed Trey Carson tonight as a running back, but also, a 2 or 3 phase special teams player, and our guys buy into it. We've got some guys that understand the scheme now, playing a lot of young guys in that, and there's no doubt that he's brought a real solid and aggressive dimension to our football team that has helped us. Blocking punts really set a tone, and if another other reason, it gives you some momentum, keeps them on edge. We just haven't been lucky with the bounce. The thing goes out of the end zone every time, so we're. I said, the blocked field goal was as important at that time from a momentum and a momentum standpoint as any other part of the game. So, yeah, you look back across the game tonight, and special teams made a big difference in this game.
We'll go far right. Jen?
Coach, the crowd at the end is chanting one more year. There's that emotional hug between Mike and Johnny. There was almost a feeling, and it could be their last final home game here too. Do you allow yourself to go there at all?
I mean, we got 2 more games. So, everybody, I talked about it earlier this week. We have a process that we go through, and we talk all the time about, opportunities down the road where you are, and I think, we've got a good enough relationship as a coaching staff with our players that those conversations will happen, but I think our guys understand that we've still got some things out there for us. It was as I said, the emotion was. There's a lot of emotion out there tonight, just because that whole setting will never look that way again. And I told guys before we went out there, the whole walk, everything else, walk in there. The entrance, everything we did, you need to take all this in and remember it, because it's never going to be like that again.
Johnny talked a little bit about just their relationship. What have those two meant? I mean, just the way they came up together, and what have they meant so far to this program?
Well, they've meant a lot. You're really talking about 2 guys who 2 or 3 years ago nobody knew anything about. It was kind of amazing, because they redshirted. They went over on the other field and played the other teams. They were the other team every week, and then basically came into a redshirt freshman year where no one knew who they were, and have really grown into a couple guys that everybody's aware of now. So they have, they've got similar issues, and I mean, in the fact that they have to deal with the same sort of problems, coming from obscurity to where they are, and so I think there's a little bit of that in there, that they're able to talk and deal with stuff that may be in a different manner that maybe some other guys on the team don't have to deal with or haven't had to deal with.
Brent, over on the right.
Julian described the defense. He said, we've got a lot to work on. Would you agree with his assessment after today?
Yeah, I thought that, we were hit and miss. I thought we were good at times. We gave up some big plays. They've moved the ball on everybody. Last week they moved it up and down the field, but they turned it over 5 times against South Carolina. So, we've got to be, I think what we have to do is, as we've talked about, be more consistent. And, we were good at times and we were poor at times, which that's not what you want out of any phase, whether it's special teams whether it's offense or whether it's your defense. You know, you want a level of consistency, and you know, those breakdowns are, you know, you look up and you see, you know, a guy missed tackles in the hole. You know, we're there and we miss a tackle. We make the tackle and they punt. We miss the tackle and here they go down the field. So, you know, it gets back to being consistent and doing your job and not trying to do too much, and the confidence to do that. And I thought that confidence showed early in really the first half and through the third quarter. We got a couple guys beat up a little bit in the second half and started running some other guys out there, and they run 85 plays? They ran a lot of plays. So, you know, that was part of it too, but we've got to become more consistent.
We'll go Kate and then Gabe and then back to Sam.
Coach, you touched on the special teams a little bit, but what was your reaction to Trey Williams getting the flag on that?
You know, it's I had a conversation with him right there, so hopefully that was a learning moment for him, because he didn't understand, he didn't know, he didn't get it, and I was more concerned that he went back there and picked up a ball in the end zone and tried to bring it out right after that, and than that right there. And you know, he's a fun-loving kid, but he's got to understand that what's at stake all the time when he's playing, and all our guys do. You know, from personal fouls, and we talk about that, things like that end up hurting the whole football team. And what can be what you think is funny or a celebration or you know, any of those things can end up being detrimental to the whole team. And you know, like I said, we got the slogan all the time: play hard, play smart, be physical. It just wasn't very smart.
And then what's your focus for the bye week? You actually get 2 this year after none last year.
Isn't that something?
With 2 big games coming up
and then
after that.
but we go on the road for we got. It's I would bet that there's very few teams that have their senior night the first week in November. It's the first time I've ever been a part of that. So you know, it's just a little bit different. You know, we've got the bye week, and it comes at a good time. We got to get healed up, and you know, we'll do some things this week, and you know, as far as practice goes, and then turn our focus to LSU, because you know we've got 2 of the better teams, not only in our league but in their country, to play on the road. So we've got some real challenges ahead of us, and we can't get ahead of looking at that as in the big picture. We've proven that we can't handle that. We got to go one at a time, and I know that's coach speak, but that's truly the case with this team. And I think the bye week comes at a good time for us from a healing standpoint, from a rest standpoint, and for the teams that we have to play to close out the season.
Far right, Gabe, then
Yep.
Sam, and then we'll finish. Okay, we'll see.
Kevin, looking back on the game, how significant was that last minute of the second quarter? Your offense was kind of sputtering. You needed that score. Turned 2 points into 9. They got the ball back. How big
Yeah,
was
it
that
was a big
score?
deal. It was a big deal. You know, you look at the sequence of events there that, you know, we give it up, but then we come back and score right before the half. That gave us some life, you know, and kept the separation where it was, you know, and kept it from being a one-score game all the time. And you know, we were frustrated. We'd given up a turnover going in. So, you know, that was big. That was a big deal to keep that cushion going into halftime, knowing you had the ball coming out of the second half.
Okay, Sam.
Seems like Travis Labhart and Malcolm Kennedy have continued to get better as the season's gone on. What has been the biggest factors in their improvement?
Well, the biggest factor is the coverage that's on Mike Evans. So when there's a guy in front of you and a guy over the top of you, Mike Evans, then there's some other spaces in the middle of the field that are open. And, you know, Travis has been a guy who's been able to take advantage of that, and so does Malcolm. So, you know, that's a big part of it. You know, everybody says, well, why are you worried about these guys? Well, you know, they're helping with Mike. That's where the pick on the sideline. Going in, comes where the safety comes over the top. And Johnny tries to fit it in there. He picks it, goes out of bounds. Well, you know, that safety is not on the hash or in the middle of the field. He's over on Mike Evans. That means there's some space in there. And that's where Travis and Malcolm are able to operate. And for us to be successful, they have to recognize that and be successful too.
Brent, why don't you wrap us up?
It's a doozy. I apologize for asking about this twice in a season, but should we just reprint your answer from before when your name surfaces with USC once again? As the top
I thought we
target?
talked about this 4 weeks ago.
I know, and
I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about LSU.
All right, that'll wrap us up. Thanks.
All right. Thanks.
Would you tell Jen the coach's name?